Brute forcing the phone numbers of any Google user. This is the article which caught my attention, and I really like the geniusness behind this. Not because I want to try this, but the way this guy has approached to this open loophole and the only minimum information that is available, the way he approached this, it's really inspiring to me. And that's why I wanted to share my understanding. I think I understood how he approached the whole thing, and how he managed to get that, and that's why I'm making this video. I don't want to waste your time and clearly show that what's happening here. So he have a simple Python script called resolve_name.py, and to this dude has provided the a mail ID that he know, and now you can use this mail ID to get the name of the person. Okay, how he did that, I'll explain how you can get that. And then there's another script that is there, which is gbp, and now to this script he is passing certain inputs. So there go a first input, and then there goes a second input, which is he is grabbing the mail ID that he have, and if you provide the mail ID and then if you do a forgot password on the Google, you basically get to know the last two digits of your number, because it sends in verification. So there are last two digits available, so you can use this last two digits as he did. And then comes the name of the person that he grabbed in the step one, if you remember. And then some parameters he passed, -w3000 is using the same web page, and then copying the bot card token. So I'll talk about this token, what this token is. This token is basically used to bypass the captcha that you have. Now here starts the actual magic. So here is the actual drama going on. As you can see, there is a speed of 49,000 or something per seconds attempt, and when it matches, then you got the found one. So again, I want to go back and show you that there was hit one, found one number, hit one, found one number, and that is the number that you have. And when you found that, it basically finished the script. So that's a demo how it works. Now I want to quickly come here to my Excalibur and show you the things like how it is happening. So first of all, there is one system called the Google Looker Studio. So what you have is a Looker Studio over here, let's say. Okay, so this is the Looker Studio what you have, and and of course I'm logged in, that's why I can see it. And there is an interesting catch in the Looker Studio. If you just know the mail ID of a certain person, if you transfer the ownership of any document to that mail ID, you get to know their display name. So for example, I just created a simple document like this, and then decided to like hand over the maybe ownership to some person. And so this is the just a dummy mail ID I'm using. Let's say Jack Henry at the rate gmail.com. If I give that and notify, then if that person is the owner, now here if it's editor, now if that person is editor over here, then I basically get to know the full name of that person. Okay, so that's the information number one. Few months ago, I disabled the JavaScript on my browser while testing. If there were a Google service left that still work without a JS in the modern web, interestingly enough, the username and the recovery form still work. So there is a recovery form and the username retrieval form that still works without JavaScript. So you can like go to the browser and then disable JavaScript. So for example, if I go to my settings over here, if I go to the site settings, and then I can basically disable the JavaScript. So here's the option, don't allow sites to use a JavaScript. I can disable that. So what he found here is there are the endpoints post sign in username recovery. So this is the endpoint to username recovery. For example, you don't know what is your username, you can use this endpoint and it returns some data, and it still works without the JavaScript enable on your browser. And he got some response over here. So basically he find out there is a way that the username recovery / lookup that can give you a name, a display name, if you have the mail ID. Now you got the display name. Now what is happening next is the first attempts were futile. It seems that it limit your IP address. Now he wanted to make a guess depending on the phone number. Now till this point you just know the mail ID and the display name, but you don't know a phone number. So you can give the mail ID and then do a forgot password, and if you do that, then it gives you a hint that basically present you with the last two digits of the number. Now this information is very important here, because if you know last two digits of the number, what is the country this person belongs to, and then you can use that. For example, in the Netherlands, mobile number always start with a 06. That means you know the first two digits and you also know the last two digits. So what you have to guess is the between digits. With this extra information, you actually reduce the amount of computation that you have to do. Again, there is a catch with the IPv6. With IPv6, you can get like this many number of IP addresses possible in theory, and that's why he decided to like rotate the IP addresses, which he managed to do. But then he found a cool solution, which is the using the botcard token from the JS form. So he was looking for some way to he want to avoid the IP rotation. So he used the botcard token that he got. As you can see, BG request, there is a botcard token that he got from the endpoint, and then he basically used that token. And what if I replace JS disable with the botcard token from the JS enable form request, and then he tested out and it worked. And if you use that token, it basically bypasses your captcha thing. Now this is where you have all the ingredients required. So this is his script gpb, which basically have the prefix starts with this number, and the suffix, this is the 03, the last two digits that he got to know. And you provided this information just like a parameters to his script, and this is the name that he know. And now here the script starting with a 3000 threads, really good use of multi-threading over here. So 3000 threads parallelly. So here starts the actual hits, and it would say yes, whether it's a yes or no. And most of them will be no, because we are just like guessing it. But there will be a one point where you can have a hit, and when the hit has happened, you just basically terminate the script. And that hit basically means, yeah, this is the number that you guessed with the provided mail ID that matches, and with that you successfully has find out the mobile number of any user. I think this approach was very creative and very smart. With just very little information available, this guy has tried out. The first thing I think for him was there was the endpoints that was working in the Google system, though you disable the JavaScript. That was the first clue he had. Went through the network request that is there, and he just find out that which request would work if I disable the JavaScript, and some of the endpoint were working. So again, I want to quickly show here. So what you have is the Looker Studio. From the Looker Studio, if you provide the mail ID, you get the display name. So you got the display name, you got the first name and the last name. Then you have the Python script. That Python script would help you to use that first name and the last name. And then you can go to the Google form and say I forgot the password, and with that you get the information, which is your last two digits of the mobile number prefix as well. So you have the first three digits or country code. So you have total 5 numbers. Now you have to guess the in between that. Okay, now how you guess that and how you find out that whether it is the correct one, for that you would basically use this endpoint that works without a JS endpoint to check the match of mail ID and the mobile number. Now this endpoint is basically protected with the bot guard. Okay, so this is the whole thing is protected with a bot guard, so you cannot like do the multiple requests here. The one solution that he came with was that you can use the multiple IPs over here, like the rotation of IPv6 addresses. That is something he did, and to circumvent this he came with another approach, which is you can use the bot guard token JS enabled here. So you can use the bot guard token that you get from your request. With that request, it would basically bypass the bot protection. So the bot protection is bypassed at this point. That means you can now do the multi-threading, and you can run as many requests you want here, as many requests as you want to this endpoint per second. So that's what he did here with this podcast token, like basically 49,000 requests per second. And now you will hit this endpoint continuously, seeing that the mobile number that I'm guessing over here and with the mail ID that I have, does it match? And if that match, this endpoint basically returns true if the match is there. So at one point you will have the hit and you'll get the mobile number that is successful, and when that happens, the script basically breaks. Now this is the current status of this vulnerability timeline. 2025 14th of April, he find out there is the issue. He reported that, and the nice catch, the panel awards this much money. Then it is qualified here with a high impact severity. The fix was made, panel awards the another amount of money somewhere here. vendor confirms they have rolled out the inflate mitigation, so they have rolled out the patch for this worldwide, so basically 22 of May, and then coordinates a disclosure with the vendor. And on the 9th of June, so just like 3 days back, the report is disclosed. Vendor confirms the Node.js username recovery form has been fully deprecated. Non-JavaScript user form, which was there, which works even your JavaScript is disabled, is now fully deprecated. That means there is no way that you can perform this attack now again. But overall, this was very clever solution that I liked, especially the way this person has try out attempted the things out of his curiosity with just very little information. That's really amazing and inspiring.